Hello students, today we are going to discuss the brief introduction to the Sun Network File System. The topics which we are going to discuss today are Introduction, NFS Architecture, NFS version 4 Stateful Protocol, NFS version 2 Stateless Protocol, and at the end, Design of NFS version 2 Protocol. The invention of Sun Network File System is done by Sun Microsystems in 1984. The basic aim of the network file system is to provide the access to the remotely stored files to the user which is accessing the system at the local side, and while doing this he is unaware that he is accessing the remote resources. For this particular operation, NFS is acting as an open source protocol and it is making use of the standard TCP IP for its communication purpose. Data distribution is done by the standard protocols. In current market, NFS version 4 is mostly used. Here, the use of open protocol is done, which specifies the exact message formats which are used during the client-server communication. Here, the various NFS servers will make their own groups for the communication task. For providing the support to the remote operations, your NFS is providing an important feature which is nothing but the interoperability. Now, as we have discussed earlier, the main focus of NFS is on the client server communication. So as you can see in this architecture diagram, there are n number of clients which are connected through the network to the server, and they are accessing the files or the information stored at the remote place. So this is the main crux of the working of the NFS. Now we will discuss about the NFS version 4 stateful protocol. Here we are considering the open operation for the files. For that purpose, we are making use of the open system call. Here, the open system call will consider the path name as the parameter and will return the file descriptor as the result. Here, the file descriptor will be used for the frequent read or write operations, and it will access the various file blocks during its operations. Now, for the better understanding of this NSV4 stateful protocol, we will consider an instance. We are considering the client-side file system which is requesting the server for opening a particular ABC file and giving the access to that file through the file descriptor. So for this purpose, it is making use of the buffer having max as the maximum limit. Now, considering the open system call, it will return the file descriptor in the read-only mode. Once the server will provide the read access to the client can now do the multiple read request through the read system call. Here read system call is again having the three parameters: file descriptor, buffer for storing the information, and considering the maximum limit. Now, once the client is done with the read operations, it will return back the file descriptor to the server. Now, while doing it, it has to call the close system call, which will consider FD or file descriptor as the parameter. Now we will discuss about the NFS version 2 stateless protocol. In the version 2, the main target is on the simple design and the fast recovery in case of the server crashes. Here, the server will not take overhead about the client operations. It will make use of the protocol request for handling the client accesses. Protocol is designed in such a way that it will handle the protocol request. Now, when we are designing the NFS v2 protocol, we have to keep in mind the important component, which is nothing but the file handle. It will make the design of the protocol very easy. File handle is nothing but the unique descriptor about the file or the directory on which our various access operations will be done. Here, the protocol request will include the file handles. The unique identifiers are must when we are identifying any file or directories. So we are considering the three important components for the unique identification of a file. That are the volume identifier, inode number, and the generation number. The volume identifier will inform the server that which file system is provided with the requests. Inode number will inform the server that which file within that partition the request is accessing. Generation number is required when we are reusing the inode number. When we increment the generation number, we can say that the inode number is reused. So here the server make assurance that the client with an old file handle should not accidentally access the newly allocated file. So this will be the main aim of the generation number. For the brief introduction to the NFS, I have referred this much as the references. Thank you all.